Hey guys, let me know what you think by liking and commenting, and it really helps me and this channel out when you subscribe, so please click that button. Thanks a bunch. Hey everyone, I'm about to convert this Athearn F59PHI from, it's just a regular old DC Athearn into DCC. It doesn't take me too long to do it, but I thought, you know what, maybe someone will get something out of this. So yeah, they're still great. You can get them a little bit more cheaply than a lot of the other versions out there. So I like buying them for that, and then I just convert them, and I have a lot of fun doing it, and I can save a little bit of money at the same time. So in this particular case, I've already stripped out the guts. Again, I sort of made this decision after I'd already started, so I pulled out all the lights and everything. I don't like the little grains of rice light bulbs or whatever they are. I don't really care much for them. In this particular version, there was an 8-pin decoder plug, but I didn't want to use it because it's cheaper just to buy the Econami for diesel from SoundTraxx, so I can save money that way. It's pretty nice. Once you strip everything out, there's actually quite a bit of room in this chassis, but what I'm going to do here actually works for a lot of other Athearn models. All right, the first thing I need to do is take a bunch of measurements to get this to work out. I mean, sometimes I may have quite a bit of room, but other times I may have only millimeters to spare. And once I got all those, I can actually do something with it. So let's give this a shot. Okay, like usual, gotta make some changes here, and also there's a few things that I'm gonna add in that I didn't think about the first time around, so yep, here we go. You don't actually have to use this technique. You can actually just use double-sided tape, or actually I like using dry tack and just plop the decoder right down on top of the motor, but sometimes I like making these mounts. This is also kind of fun too. Gotta try again. Okay, finally that worked out, and here's what I came up with, and I think I should be able to assemble these inside of the chassis and have it work out pretty well. As I indicated before, I can save a little bit of money by not using the 8-pin plug-in and use an Econami instead, but actually what I'm showing you here will work for a SoundTraxx Tsunami 2 also. Firstly, make note of the orientation here. The front is the one with the little microchip on it that's, well, it's square, but it looks kind of diamond if you view it from this perspective. Looking at it from this perspective, the ones towards the bottom are the track in for the right side, and the ones up top are the track in for the left side of the locomotive. And one way to test this is to try the lights out after you get this hooked up. Because if you have the right side and left side correct, the front lights and the back lights will light up when they're supposed to. On this particular model, the over-the-truck pads are actually from the left side. So those go into the uppermost ones here. And there's actually a wire down below the motor. It's about the center of the motor, and it's soldered into a pad. But there's only one wire, but that is going to be the right side pickup. And there's only one of them, so you can choose which one of the two pads you want to solder it into. All right, the motor negative and the motor positive are clearly marked M plus and M minus. You'll notice a wire coming up from the bottom side of the motor. This one is not hooked up to the pad that's screwed into the chassis. You can sort of tell it goes underneath the motor and hooks in there. That is the motor negative. For the motor positive, you'll have to solder it into the copper strip or copper or brass strip that's on the top here. Just make sure not to solder too close to the plastic. Or if you do, don't put it under heat for any longer than you have to, or that plastic will start to deform. Use the S minus and S plus and solder to your speaker. It doesn't matter which way, it's AC, so the polarity doesn't matter. Now the middle two end pads, the one that is closest to the bottom on both sides, Don't flip it around. On both sides, it's the one that's closest to the bottom. That is the positive, while the one closest to the top is the negative. For your standard 3.3 volt LED, I like to use 7500 ohm, but you can try whatever you want. Try a bunch of different ones and see what you get. Now, it looks like on this F59PHI, it actually has backup lights on the front that turn red when the locomotive is going into reverse. That's probably because it can use a cab car. Since that's the case, I have to wire both a reversing headlight, for the lack of a better way to put it, and I also have to wire in a red LED for the backup markers. For whichever ditch light you want, connect F3 here to one light and use the same positive, use the common positive, and solder that together and run it to the front. And for the other ditch light, connect it to F4, and you can use the common positive again and run it to the other side, the other ditch light position. All right, getting my materials together here. By the way, when I pulled out those rice green or whatever the heck rice size light bulbs, there's a hole now where those were, and I'm going to use 1mm fiber optic and jam that in there, and it works really well. Here, get some lights, get those all together. I actually decided to eventually use a SMD light for the front headlights. It worked out better. There's my resistor. And I'm going to use the shrink tube as a shroud over my ditch lights so that it doesn't flood the whole front compartment with light. So, all right, let's give this a go. It stayed pretty clean, so I'm pretty happy about that. I used dry tack in a couple places just to make sure that wires would stay put. I don't like using a ton of it. I also use dry tack to form kind of a crude instrument panel. Okay, let's put it on the track and see what we get. Okie dokie, if you notice, it's in reverse right now and the reversing markers are on, so that makes sense when you have a cab car and you're pushing the consist. I'll just flip everything around and you could see the headlight, since it's an SMD and is going through that 1mm fiber optic, it looks really nice. Here is the ditch lights, and I run ditch lights all the time, but I will give you the CV values for these. So you can run them like this, or you can run them with the horn. I'll show you how to do it. All right, I am using Econami for diesel, and if you want to get the correct sound for this, you set CV 123 to value 2. By the way, most of the things I'm telling you here will also work for the Tsunami 2. You just have to watch your CV values, because on the Tsunami 2, the CV will be different. In fact, on the Tsunami 2 EMD, it's at CV 123 to 8. That'll be the one you need. I think everything else here will actually be the same, so that's the only difference I can think of. In order to have the ditch lights flashing all the time, set CV 53 to 9 and CV 54 to 41. To have them flash on horn, it's CV 53 to 73 and CV 54 to 105. Now, one thing I think you're going to want to do is make the ditch lights turn off if it goes into reverse. So in order to do that, you need to set CV57 to 13 and CV58 to 2. If you set CV58 to 14, actually, it will leave them on in reverse. As a quick aside, I actually also put in a small cab light. I actually don't have a figure to put in there, but as soon as I do, I'll plop them in there, and I've put that on FX5. So it's easy to do. Might as well, I guess, if you have it all open like that, if that's something you're interested in. Now, if you have this on forward and it happens to run in reverse, check to see if the headlights are actually running forward. If the headlights are actually running forward but it runs in reverse, just simply reverse the motor positive and negative. Just flip those around and everything will be fine. If the lights are also backwards, then you can, well, I guess the right way to do it, I don't know, I'd be lazy, but the right way to do it is to flip all of the track leads. Just flip them and just cross them over. What I would probably do is actually just set the CV to reverse direction. I've done it several times and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a lot easier than going in and desoldering everything. So it's up to you. You can do whichever you feel. If you're running an F59PHI like I am, actually the horn is set correctly out of the box. But if not, check the table on the user's guide to see which horn you should be using. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I really appreciate you watching and I really hope this helped you out. If you have any comments, hey, write them down below. And as always, please like and subscribe. Those things really help me out when you do that. Until next time, please take care and hey, continued happy model railroading. Catch you later.